Hey guys, it's Jamie here. I'm just editing the video, and you know what? I set John up for failure here. I actually even teased him after the episode said hit because he says at the end, episode 27, and we were just kind of making a joke saying, hey, if anybody who watches to the very end, we'll put a big comical X on the screen and kind of make a joke out of it. It's not a big deal. Well, I set him up for failure because at the beginning of the episode, you'll hear me say episode 27. Clearly wrong. It's episode 37. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. Let's get to the video. A-To-Zed Reseller Podcast, episode 27. I'm Jamie, and
This is John.
and we're going to talk some reselling. We missed last week, so we apologize for that. But life gets in the way sometimes, and I feel like with the upcoming Christmas holidays and everything, we'll probably miss another one somewhere in between. But we're going to do our best to keep going. And did you see we hit 100 subs here on YouTube?
Yeah, I saw that. That's very exciting. So thank you, everybody who has been following along, and hope you get some value out of this. I know I've certainly learned a lot and grown as a reseller just from doing this podcast. So
Yeah, me too. It's always even I definitely learned stuff from you, and then it's even interesting to see somebody's point of view on something that might be different too, or different ways to do things, right? And there's all kinds of ways to learn and grow in reselling because you don't have to do. Nobody has to do anything a particular way. You can do it any way that works for you.
yeah, exactly.
So I think when we left off last time, you were just trying to get your U.S. Poshmark going. How's that turning out for you?
Well, so I still don't have it going. Unfortunately, what had happened was, I don't know if it was just because I was trying to like create an account and use I think I was trying to link a Canadian PayPal, or I did something at least that triggered them to need to, have me confirm my identity and stuff. So, I got the response from their support team that said, okay, yeah, you just got to do this, provide your, I had to give them my driver's license photo and stuff like that. And they said it should only take a couple of business days. I actually just emailed them back yesterday because it's been several business days now. I think that was, probably like 10 days ago or something that I did that. And I had just gone in and tested yesterday to see if I could list there yet, and I still couldn't. So I'm still trying to get it going. I would love to get it going because now that I'm using Stallion Express, it would, make it a lot better, sending even more orders in to help, amortize that package cost. But
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's anything unusual. Poshmark, the only way you can contact them is through their support message, right? And it's brutal. It's 2 days. I found myself getting more confused by it over time because, like you're kind of wondering what's going on. So you might send another message. And then when someone replies to your message, they're not replying to your second message sent normally. They're going to the first message. And then it winds up being this mess of like, well, who am I talking to and where do we leave off? Their support is terrible. I do like Poshmark quite a bit as far as a reselling platform, but as far as trying to actually talk to anybody, it's really poor.
yeah, I noticed that. Actually, even in the first reply to me, it was that they'd obviously just like copy pasted some generic thing because it was, thank you for your purchase. We understand that you're having difficulty. So here's what you need to do. It's like, my purchase? What are you talking about? Anyway, I just kind of ignored it because I knew, whatever. They just copied and pasted the wrong thing. But
The other frustrating thing about their chat, as we rip Poshmark apart here in the first 5 minutes, apparently, is you have to put in your username in the email. They don't know it's you if you don't do that. That's so stupid. Like how old is that technology that it doesn't know that the guy messaging from my account is me? That you have to put in your username, otherwise they're like, we don't know who this is.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyway, how about eBay? I know so you switch to Stallion Express, so that certainly gives you more shipping options. Have your sales been improving? Because there's so many Canadians who have either put their store in vacation mode, or the ones that haven't. I've heard a lot of down weeks, and things aren't doing good.
I would say that my sales are still moving along. It's nothing crazy, but I mean, I've definitely been sending stuff out since I started using Stallion Express here last month sometime. I guess the first order that I made, because I actually have it open, I'm looking at my shipments through Stallion now. The first label I bought from them was on November 18th. We're filming this on the 11th, so it's only been about 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and I've had to buy 40 labels through them.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. I mean, I would say that my average sales week is about the same as it was even before the strike, and that was when I had Poshmark going. So my sales are still pretty decent. The difference, I think, a lot of it is that now that I've got reasonable options to ship worldwide, I have opened some of that up. So I've made 5 or 6 or 7 like worldwide shipments. Actually, I've got one going to Australia that just came in yesterday. First time shipping to Tasmania, and I can ship to, oh my god, this is so funny. I'm just going to keep going on tangents here, but I got to share this because it's just hilarious. I can ship a shirt to Australia for $11.87.
Yeah.
It's the other side of the world, man. And I can't send something to my neighboring town for under $23 with Canada Post.
I know. It's pretty sad, honestly.
So, yeah, it's a long way of saying my sales are good. They're probably about the same as they were before the strike, but then having those few international sales is nice.
Yeah. The other thing is, too, I'm sure you've heard all this as well, but like, if you ship something right now with UPS, just try to get around the Canada Post thing. I know a lot of like local drop-offs are only accepting like 5 packages. If you make 5 sales a day, that's probably still okay, right? But if you're selling more than that, or if you ever got in a scenario where you need more than that, they're like, they're limiting what you can even do. So they're so overwhelmed. It's pretty crazy.
In my area, so I've got that third-party trucking company down the road from me, although there's a detour in place because they've got to put a new culvert in. So it's actually a 20-minute drive to them now instead of a 3-minute drive. But that's beside the point. That company is no longer, like, they rep UPS, but they're not doing anything with UPS. UPS isn't even coming to them for the foreseeable future. So that is completely out of the option. There's no pickups in my area by UPS. And there's one other drop-off depot in the town about 15 minutes from me. And they're also not accepting anything. So for all intents and purposes, UPS in my area is not an option anywhere within about half hour to 45 minutes of me. I don't know about the towns that are like an hour away, but yeah, so UPS is an absolute no-go right now. Unless, I guess, if I'm sending something in through Stallion and then it's going to UPS, maybe they're still taking it. I don't know. But even Purelator, I had a package, my last package to send to Stallion. I couldn't book a UPS pickup because I was getting that no rates found error on Stallion Express. It's because UPS isn't doing pickups.
Right.
So I had to send it through NetParcel instead through Purelator. And that third-party company reps Purelator as well. And they said, okay, we can take it this morning. They're coming at 11 o'clock. You need to get here before that. After that, we're probably not taking any Purelator the rest of the year either. So my next box to Stallion, I actually have no idea what I'm doing yet. It might have to go like Canpar or Loomis or MBW or something. But
yeah, that's wild. It is. I feel kind of bad. I haven't talked a ton recently on my channel about the strike, and part of it's because I don't actively use Canada Post except for with Poshmark Canada, which obviously I've got Poshmark orders just sitting here. I haven't pulled them or anything because I don't know if they're going to get canceled at some point if they can't figure it out. Doesn't seem like with all these other options becoming limited, it doesn't seem like Poshmark would jump on the bandwagon of trying one of these companies who are already stressed out, right? Yeah, I do feel bad for people who are affected by the strike directly just because of Canada Post and location. But yeah, I don't know. It is crazy. I keep watching different news articles, and actually, I don't know. Matt Cart keeps doing a whole bunch of like update videos. I've been watching and getting a little informed by him, and then watching like little global and CTV news like clips. Yeah, I would be afraid to give wrong information, so I've been kind of tight-lipped about it, and it doesn't directly affect me a ton, so I don't really want to have a big opinion about it.
Yeah, it's been a little bit difficult for me because so now UPS being like Stallion Express being my backup plan, which uses UPS for picking up, and now UPS being like, hey, we got to put a hold on things, and now we're no longer supporting that pickup option in Stallion. So now like my backup plan, now I need to find a backup plan to that, which was Pure Later this last time. Now I need to find a backup plan to that. So I'm like on my third level of backup plan here. And so it does kind of suck for me a little bit as well, like for the content I've been making recently, because I've really been like, you know, representing Stallion Express in a very positive light and being like, hey, like, use this. This is great. And I know that people have started using it and have signed up using my referral code and stuff because they got the little notification and whatnot, which is great. I mean, they get their free credits and whatever. But then, like, if they can't actually book the UPS pickup, and that was their whole backup plan, and I like kind of directed them to do it. Now I feel a little bit bad, right? But I mean, what do you do, right? There's no, I don't think anybody can really predict all of the ways this Canada strike post is going to affect and just have a trickle down effect on everybody. So,
yeah. And I didn't realize that when you said, I think in one of your last videos, like I knew if somebody signed up with your referral code, I think you get like 20 cents every time for the first 3 months or something like that. They get by shipment. I didn't realize that you actually got, I never paid close enough attention to it, honestly, to realize that you got like a, would you say $25 credit both ways? That's pretty cool.
I thought it was both ways. And in fact, I might need to change the description in my videos. Cause so when I copied my referral code from Stallion and I pasted it into my video description, it automatically added this little blurb as well as the link.
Okay.
And I think the blurb itself is outdated because I was looking at something when I was Googling it, trying to like get some clarification. I think it used to be that you both get 25.
Okay.
And now I think the person who uses your code gets 25 right away that they can use. And you get 20 cents. Like I get 20 cents per shipment for the next 3 months. Because I kept thinking like, damn, I got 6 refers. Where's my $150?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even, the reason I wouldn't pay attention is because I don't know how you've been using it. I throw $50 on there because you have to buy credits. Yeah. I use them up. Sometimes while I'm shipping, I have to rebuy credits because, you know, it depends how much you're using. So just when it says, hey, you're out of credits, I throw $50 on there and I just keep doing that. I've got a credit card on file and it's just so that I don't get stuck with a whole bunch of money on there. So I just do $50 at a time. And if I got a bunch of free money on there, I would never know because I only put money on it when I run out of money. I don't necessarily keep a running tally, you know, of it, although it shows you how much you have in your dashboard left. But yeah.
Yeah, true. Now I use it the same way pretty much. Like I pretty much when I get my orders in there and I import them in and I kind of go through them to see how much everything's going to cost, I'll typically then kind of like group them together in a batch. So I kind of have an idea of how much I'm going to need for credits for that day, like pretty close. Like if I think I'm going to need $70, I might just at the beginning throw $100 in there or something with that card. But same deal, like, I wouldn't know from one day to the next exactly what's in there. So, but I've been paying attention really close to that referral tab because I'm like, damn, where's my $25 every time someone signs up? So, yeah, I think that is outdated information. I think they're doing the 20 cents per shipment for 3 months instead of you also getting 25.
Yeah. And that's just available to anybody, right? Like if you have an account, you can refer people and do that. So, you know.
I wish I would have realized, man, I would have used your referral code. I would have gotten 25 cents or $25. You would have gotten $20 on, or 20 cents on every single one of these orders. I mean, I know it's 40 orders. Well, you would have made $8 off of it so far. I mean,
no,
free money.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you're using it because I do think it'll give you new options. Even if you do go back to use Canada Post, you'll always know that, hey, like I'm going to get skunked on this, so I could just my next week or next chunk of shipments I'll use Stallion Express, so I don't have to eat such a big loss on this one thing. So it could save you in that aspect at some point too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, I got to tell you, my eBay sales have been crazy. I think it's just because, for the most obvious reason, I've been listing like crazy. I've been listing video game stuff, pop culture stuff, collectible stuff. And we're in Q4. I'm also listing on eBay with a US address as my shipping address. So there's nobody. I even had a Canadian message me and say, hey, like there's a Canada Post strike. Would you ship with a courier? Because I don't want it to get stuck somewhere. And I'm like, Yeah, I know there's a strike. I understand. I didn't explain where I was. I'm just like, I can absolutely ship with a courier. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Um, yeah, but like it's just I've went from having such a lull, and then after the for whatever reason after the Canada Post strike, this last chunk of Q4 has just like taken off for me. This is kind of what I expected, and it just didn't happen. So I almost feel bad, um, just because I know how many other people in the same situation to me are having a hard time, and my store's just sort of taken off.
Well, I think I mean, there's nothing to feel bad about, but I think one of the main reasons why you can expect that, like you say, is you're listing good stuff for this time of the year, but then also that's probably a huge advantage being listed on .com because you're then like I know I've seen it, others have seen it and have mentioned it to me, like it's obviously very clearly now being displayed to all kinds of buyers, potential buyers, like, hey, this person is in Canada, like there's delays, blah, blah, blah. If people are going to your store, they're browsing your stuff and they're not seeing that massive red flag, that statement,
Yeah.
alert, alert, don't buy from this person. I mean, it's not saying that, but you know what I mean? Like you're not getting that. They have nothing to fear, right? They have nothing to fear from buying from somebody with a U.S. address like you do. No, so that's really cool. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Like I say, I mean, the sales haven't been bad on my end, but I also haven't been listing I've seen some stuff you've been putting up. You've been putting up some really good stuff, and yeah, video game stuff this time of the year. That's perfect.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the other thing is, so what's your take on this? So I've had some people say, I've had lots of people say negative things about this. Did you see the card buy that I did make? The $4,000 in hockey cards and baseball cards.
I did.
It's a lot of money, right?
Yep. A lot of money.
A lot of money. So initially when I seen these cards, there was like a whole kitchen table full of cards, and I knew there was a lot of garbage in there. So this is like the third or fourth time I seen these cards, and I had him get all the junk out of it. I'm only going to buy the good stuff. And then even on the day that I went to go buy them, he obviously because we were so far off in how much he wanted and how much I was going to pay, he threw a bunch of lower end stuff in to sweeten the deal for me, even though it's just volume.
Right.
But like, I got to say, like, if I've already made a couple really high value sales out of the cards, I've probably only listed in the first 10 cards I listed, I probably have $1,000 in listings. You know what I mean? It's going to dwindle down to like worse and worse and worse as I go. I'll probably auction some of this stuff off in a different fashion than I'm used to. I do still think there's a lot of value there. And all the stuff this guy's had, like these balls behind me, all the pucks, all the jerseys I got from this guy, he didn't buy junk. The stuff that he had is actually good. So, I mean, I think it just seems like to a lot of people, it seemed like a lot of work and wasn't worth your time. But I mean, what else am I doing with my time? I'm a full-time reseller. If I have to sit down here and list 20 or 30 cards a day on top of what I'm already doing, it's just money, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of money, and it was a big pickup, and yeah, it's a lot of work and stuff, but it's also something that's just kind of cool. Like,
I think so.
I don't know that, like, I think you're going to do really good with that buy. I think it's, I don't have any doubt at all that this was a good pickup for you. Now, for me personally, who's only doing this part-time and only has like a limited amount of time I could really put towards this, I wouldn't have made that buy because it would take me months to go through it, get everything listed, put in the effort to actually like make my money back. But yeah, as a full-time reseller, I think it was a great buy. I think you're going to easily profit thousands of dollars off of this.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've never been the type of person that is afraid of the lower value. I can think of alternate ways to get rid of stuff that I don't want to deal with, right? And I've done that in the past on other big buys, and like just almost broke even on getting rid of the stuff I don't want. Like you can get a lot of money out of stuff when you lot it up and get rid of it in different ways. But yeah, I don't know.
I do that with video game stuff too. A lot of times, if I buy I've bought out lots of video games where there might be 100 PS3 games in a tote. I know 80 of them are junk, right? 80 of them are like sports champions or, you know, NHL 2008 or something, a dollar or two a piece. Well, I don't want them. So, you know, if I buy that tote of 100 games for $200 or something from somebody, that's a great deal for me. I've got those 80 I don't want. Well, I can easily like lot them up or whatever, maybe get a couple dollars a piece for them or even a dollar a piece, get most of my money back. And then, yeah, then you've got that stuff you're actually going to make money on. And it's like, you don't have to get too cute with that lower value stuff. Like you say, just lot it up, get rid of it. If there is something there that's not even worth your time, donate it, get a Value Village coupon, like whatever, you know, there's $10.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just being creative with stuff, right? And knowing, I think also knowing where to draw the line on whether something's worth your time or not, right? Just because it's not worth your time doesn't mean there might not be an opportunity to make money off of it still.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. So, do you have a sale of the week this week?
I do, and so I'll share with our viewers here that before we started recording here, I did not have a sale of the week, and I was like, oh crap, yeah, I should do that. So I was looking it up, and as we were you know, getting ready to start this thing, I had gotten a notification somebody sent an offer. So I sold a pair of new with tags. The brand is called Cult of Individuality, and it's a very like niche brand. These are like rocker slim. I could see these being like real emo jeans or something like that, but they hold a lot of value. Like I don't know what the price tag actually said on them, but originally I had them listed for somewhere around $100. Now I've had them for long enough now. I've been dropping the price over time, but I think I had them listed for like $70, and someone just offered me $59 for them. So $59 for a pair of jeans. Man, that's pretty good because my buy cost on jeans is under $8. That's with taxes at my at like that Frenchie's chain. So yeah, that's a great investment. 8 into 59, I'll take it. Even though they probably did take like, you know, 4 to 6 months to sell. They don't take up any space. So
yeah, I like selling jeans in general. I mean, obviously higher end ones are better, but yeah, they're easy to ship, easy to store. They always sell. People always need jeans.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I was looking at them and like, yeah, I just, you know, my high school years were in the late 90s and graduated 2001. And, you know, I just think back to the time of wearing the big baggy skater jeans, the Jenkos, and all these crazy, crazy wide leg jeans. And when I see these tiny little narrow skinny jeans, and it's like, I don't understand the trend. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody. Like, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But every time I see them, like every time I see these skinny jeans and I'm picking them up to resell, I think, oh man, who's going to buy these? And then I remember it's not about what I like. It's about what sells, what other people like. I've made that mistake way too many times in the past, picking up inventory because I like it. You know, we can't do that.
Yeah, it's very easy to do that for sure.
Yeah.
So mine was pretty interesting, and I'm going to let you guess. First of all, do you remember me buying this? So the same guy that I did get the pucks and the cards and everything from, when I bought soccer jerseys, I bought this this bobblehead set of Manchester United, and I think it's when they won 3 champions. Do you recall this at all? It's like in a set like look like Monopoly board, and there's just like little bobbleheads of all the players.
I do remember something like that. I feel like that's very familiar to me. Yeah.
Okay, so it's got a little certification in it, and it's like says kind of a serial number and what it is. In that particular one is from when they won like 3 cups in a row, I think in the 90s or something like that. And I paid $50. This guy said, you know, this is worth a lot of money. I don't know what it's going to go for. The only sold comp I could find was for a different one that sold for $150. But there was one listed for $800 Canadian. Then there was one guy who continuously tried to auction it off and hadn't sold it. His auction started around $250. I listed mine for $499 USD. What do you think it actually sold for?
Do you know off the top of your head who any of the players were?
Well, no, I know in Manchester United, I can't
Okay.
even. I can kind of look it up while you're thinking of what years they were, because it probably
Okay.
says
Yeah.
interesting.
I
I
mean,
don't. I
if
don't
we're
even.
talking when they won 3 in a row, if it was like late '90s era, I don't know if Rooney was with them at the time.
Could be. I got a bunch of the Rooney jerseys for sure.
I'm willing to bet you got 450 for it.
You're you're pretty close. I got full price actually.
Oh,
I got
nice.
$499, which winds up being. My phone doesn't want to work. Winds up being 701 or $2 or something like that.
Oh
And
man, that's great.
yeah, I was just like, well, I'm going to go in the middle. This other guy wants 8. Uh, the guy trying to run auctions is kind of trying to start what he thinks is low, and I have no idea. I assume the person who bought it had like a good eBay account with like 2,000 feedback. I think they're from like Florida, so I'm like no issues with the account whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I paid $50 for it because I was nervous that I wasn't sure I was actually going to be able to sell it for the 150 that a different one sold for. But
Yeah.
I said that to him too. So the most I'll pay is $50, and I would not pay that anywhere else, like at a garage sale or.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna list this high and I'm just gonna ride it out. Luckily, I only had to ride it out like a month.
That's awesome. Because yeah, I mean, you never really know. Like,
No.
like, and there's that person trying to auction it off. I mean, somebody could get a really good deal on it, but I think auctions are like not appealing to a lot of buyers because they don't want to have to follow it, and they think, oh, it's just going to get bid up or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Some people just want it right now. They don't want to wait 5 days
yeah,
to see what happens with that.
yeah, exactly. No, man, that's a really good sale. But you know, yeah, I feel the same way. I think that, well, it's like when I bought those Dave Steeb bobbleheads, the Toronto Blue Jay, like the bobbleheads there from his commemorative 93 year or 92 no hitter or whatever it was. You know, I mean, I paid up for those. I did pay like I think $50 a piece, and I didn't have a lot of comps to work with, but it was like, you know what? This is about the limit I'm willing to pay on these, but I'll give it a go. And you know, I thought maybe I could put around 250 on them and just see what happens. And if eventually I got my money back, okay, I learned something, right?
Yeah.
My thought process on that was, okay, if I have these to the point where I'm starting to knock it down, then I'm just going to earn my money back. Then I'm going to keep one for myself, and the other one, I guess I'll just get my money back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's a good way to look at it for sure.
Yeah.
Those were from Salvation Army, right?
I actually bought them from
Value
Value.
Village. Value
Yeah.
Village. Yeah. Those were pretty awesome. Really, that was a really good flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I mean, go for $4.99 US though.
no, you know what? The thing that made me super happy about that is the soccer jerseys I bought from that guy. I paid too much for them, really. Where I'm depends how you look at it. I was going to make probably $10 or more on every jersey, which isn't that great, really. Like considering what I paid for it, it's not super good. So the fact that that wound up being so good, just now whatever I want to take for those jerseys is fine because I've already made all my money there. So I can just look at the jerseys in a new way. Now I don't have to look at them like I paid $20. Do I really want to take 35? Well, you know what? I just made all this other money and then this was part of that buy. If you're
Exactly.
willing to think like that, you'll do a lot better in this type of business because now that whole buy is taken care of.
Yeah.
Everything I sell from that buy in my mind is profit. I don't care what I paid individually per jersey anymore because now it just opens up the ability to make money off of the rest of the stuff.
Exactly. Now the rest of it is cash flow that you can invest in the next thing. Yeah, that's you kind of got to go that way because if you get hung up and attached to those individual items and you think, oh, that jersey, man, I got to at least make this much from it. Well, you're going to be a jersey collector, right? Like, and that's not the point. No, you're right. You've got to think that way. You got to just like think about it as an overall. Okay, I did really good here. This is all cash flow. Honestly, at this point, if you lose $2 per jersey, who cares, right? That's cash is king, man. Invest in the next thing.
Yep, exactly. Which is one of the biggest things. Like I said, I think I know for myself when I started, I don't track everything individually. I know you do. You could go back and look at your buy cost, but there are certain things that you do pay up for, and you're like, oh, you know what? I really need to get more money for that. And
Yeah.
to break out of that mindset is changed my reselling journey a lot, because you'll get sales, but when like nobody's offered you any money for something you've had for a long time. You're like, I'm not going to take that. Well, should you take it? Because it's been sitting here for a year. Nobody else wanted it. Maybe it's time to let it go. So letting stuff go sometimes, is a good idea.
Yeah.
Hard to
Yeah.
do.
Exactly. No, I've had so many times in the last, like, I'd say the last 3 years is when I've been doing this kind of seriously. And that first year was like, oh my god, I can't lose money on this, or I can't only get this much money for it. Like, it was almost like it was an ego thing, or it was like I thought if I failed on that item, then I was a failure. And you got to get over that. That's not what it is.
I just sold this week a Atlanta Braves necktie from the 90s, made today, has the tags from the 90s on it. I probably paid $3 from it from a thrift store somewhere 3 years ago. I got an $8 US offer, so that's still probably $10 or $11. You're darn right I took it. You know what I mean? I don't care what it's listed for. I want that thing out of my life. I'm never going to buy that tie again, or any tie like that probably again. Neckties is something, there are some that are worth good money.
But the right person got to come along for it.
So long tail. I've never had a necktie that I bought that was super valuable and sold right away or anything. I've sold a few for like $25, $30, but they still took a long time to sell. It's sort of like learning those things. And like, that's just a good example of something like, I don't really care. That thing is gone, and I don't plan on seeing another one anytime soon.
Yeah. No, for sure. That is a good example. Since we're on neckties, the only tie, like, because I've sold a few, for really cheap or something, but the only one that I ever had that I almost wish I didn't sell it, because I'm a Blue Jays fan. It was like the Blue Jays Looney Tunes kind of mashup, and it was from 93, or it might have actually been from 94, but it was like from their World Series win. It was the Looney Tunes dressed up as Blue Jays, a World Series tie, and it's like, I got like $120 for it, but I think to myself every day, should I have sold that? That should be hanging right on the other side of that curtain with the rest of my Blue Jays stuff. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I mean, at the time, I probably needed the $100, but
yeah, I remember that one because I actually liked it in your Poshmark store, and then every once in a while, either you, a sidekick, or somebody would send me an offer, and I'm like, you're gonna get me one of these days, John. If I got a wedding coming up and I really need an ugly tie, it was a cool tie, but I mean, they're ugly, very loud for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What else has been going on? I know at the end of the video we're going to showcase John's Christmas tree. The holidays are coming up. I thought for sure maybe your tree is still very retro. I hadn't had in my mind maybe just a little bit more vintage on it, but it's really cool. I like it.
Well, I think on the I think on that main tree that I showed from our living room, it's kind of a mix of, like, it's got a certain look. It's got a little bit of like a mid-century kind of a look.
Mm-hmm.
Now the one that I've got on the other side of this curtain down here is, and maybe I'll send you a clip of that one too. That one's a little bit more like, little more pop culture.
Okay.
It still has like some retro look, but more like I know I've got like a Sega Genesis, ornaments on it, like a couple of like other video game type ornaments and stuff on it. So it's a little bit of a mishmash.
See, I think I just for some reason had in my head like, oh, John's for sure gonna have like some handmade or homemade or like crocheted looking like orange and like baby puke yellow type stuff like that. And I just kind of like the old couch look, like that.
Right.
Sort of.
No, we've got a lot of the traditional like red felt and like flocked type of ornaments that are like straight out of the 60s and 70s era, but they still look a little bit more in that classic red kind of a thing. But yeah, man, one of these days I'm gonna have to give a house tour, because our house actually does look like most of it. The basement looks like it's out of the 70s, but the rest of the house looks like it's completely out of the 50s or 60s. Like even our kitchen is like avocado green and everything else. Like it looks like a 60s kitchen advertisement has just worked its way into my actual kitchen. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, I like it too. That's definitely if my wife could convince me, she would love to have like the old like granny type couch from like the 70s and like the she really loves that stuff. I'm more of I need comfort. I need a big comfortable couch to lay on and be lazy.
Right. You just want your beanbag chair.
Yeah, for sure.
No, we're getting too old for beanbag chairs. They're hard to get out of.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time getting out of the regular chair for sure.
Yeah. But no, I mean, otherwise, like just getting ready for Christmas and just we've got all of our gifts are wrapped up under the tree. It's just the two of us. So I mean, got those wrapped up. They're under the tree. We're all ready to go, and it's really just been kind of hanging out, trying to make good use of our evenings, watching lots of old Christmas movies and different Christmas specials and animated specials and stuff like that, and just trying to relax. I mean, I do get a nice chunk of time off of work. I'm off from the 20th right through to January 6th, taking some vacation, so I get a nice chunk of time off, but still like to lead up all month, towards Christmas, just hanging out in the evenings, snacking. I always put on like 15 pounds in December. It's fine. My New Year's resolution will take care of that.
Yeah. All right, well, let's leave it with this. So you mentioned movies. What's your favorite holiday movie? I'll let you go, and then I'll give you mine, and then I'll let you do an outro here.
Oh, wow. Favorite holiday movie? I mean, there's quite a few that could make a top 5 or even a top 10, but I'm gonna say one that I go to every single year and that I just absolutely love. Okay, no, I gotta go with 2 because they're basically the same movie, but it's like they were re-released with different casts, but it was Bing Crosby in both of them. So Holiday Inn and White Christmas. I think White Christmas does kind of take it. Just, I don't know. I mean, I love the old movies. I really, really do. I love Holiday Inn because I like Fred Astaire's in that one as well. They've got a great dynamic. But I think White Christmas does just edge it out, and that's probably my favorite.
Wow. Going super old school. I like it.
Yeah, that's like in the 40s. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go much more modern.
Okay.
And since we're going 2, I'll go with the only 2 that matter. Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Anything after that doesn't exist in my world.
Okay.
Straight garbage.
That's fair.
Yeah. So it took me 2 days to watch Home Alone 1 because I fell asleep. Last night I started Home Alone 2. I made it 10 minutes in. I can't lay down and watch TV. I'm not that kind. If I'm watching it, I need to sit up. My wife can watch TV in bed. Nope. I'm gonna be falling asleep in 10 minutes. But yeah, those are my favorites for sure. Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2. Just
that's fair.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic for me. I grew up in the right time area where that was really a big thing and a lot of fun. And as far as holiday movies, those still hold up really well.
Yeah, and I agree. I definitely like the Home Alone movies. Those first 2. Nothing after that. Agreed. It's trash.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks very much for watching here today. I think we said that was episode 27. That sounds right. Anyway, hope you guys are getting ready for Christmas, enjoying the holiday season so far, or if you don't celebrate it, that's fine too. But, this whole reselling thing has definitely been a little bit of a struggle since the Canada Post strike. We're trying to make do, and, let us know down below if it's affected you, how it's affected you. And yeah, just hope you guys have a good holiday season.